Hey, how you doing? I'm the Don, the godfather of computers, here with this week's IT security tip number 29. Don't ever send sensitive data to anyone without verification. Here's what happens. The secretary gets an email from her boss, who's traveling, to please send him as soon as possible scanned copies of all the W-2s and 1099s the business issued at the end of January. The message appears to come from her manager, including what looks like his actual email address when she checks it in Outlook. But before she collects the PDFs that are on the HR drive, she decides to text her boss and verify his request. Great catch. The boss never requested that information. Had she not been proactive and just completed the request, she would have given a criminal all of the confidential information that is on the federal forms. The criminal could have used that information to commit identity theft and/or file false tax returns the next year to claim the refunds. What is CEO fraud? CEO fraud is a type of cybercrime where attackers impersonate a business's senior staff in order to trick an employee into sending unauthorized wire transfers or divulging sensitive information. The FBI reports that between 2016 and 2019, CFO fraud, which is also known as business email compromise, or BEC, resulted in $26 billion in losses for companies across the globe. That's 26 billion with a B. How does CEO fraud work? CEO fraud is a highly targeted form of spear phishing, where criminals research potential victims and their businesses online, learning everything they can from the business's website and social media sites, such as LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Targets are usually mid-level staff members in the financial, accounts payable, or human resources departments. Criminals craft very realistic-looking emails that appear to come from a company's senior executive and uses information gained about the target to make the email seem authentic. The email urges the target to take immediate action to transfer money, provide sensitive information such as payroll or tax information, or share credentials that could provide attackers with access to the business's systems. Because CEO fraud attacks emphasize urgency, security, and/or confidentiality, employees are often inclined to respond without verifying the request is legitimate. So how can you recognize a CEO fraud attack? CEO fraud is much harder to recognize than common phishing emails that are sent to hundreds of thousands of recipients. The request may even come from a legitimate email address that has been hacked by attackers. But there are several signs of CEO fraud you should look out for. For instance, requests to transfer money or sensitive information. Every request of this kind should be verified. An urgent or threatening tone. CEO fraud attacks are designed to encourage employees to act quickly. Requests made by executives who say they are unavailable for a period of time. Try to contact in some way, even if you have to text them. Language that requests secrecy or confidentiality. This is designed to prevent employees from checking with other team members or supervisors. unusual account numbers or financial institutions, and mismatches in the sender's email address or in URLs within the email. Attackers may use email addresses and links that are slight variations of email addresses and websites designed to slip past the notice of recipients who are in a hurry to comply with the request. How can you prevent CEO fraud? Effectively preventing CEO fraud requires multiple layers of protection that may include security awareness training that educates employees about the potential signs of CEO fraud and other types of cyber attacks, company-wide policies and procedures that require multiple layers of authorization or verification before money can be transferred or sensitive information can be distributed, email security technology that can scan and filter emails in real time in order to block users from opening suspicious attachments or clicking on links which may be malicious, DNS authentication services that use DMARC, DKIM to determine the legitimacy of emails, anti-malware and anti-spam programs that can stop certain emails. So how do you report CEO fraud if you suspect it or find out you've been hacked? Attempted or successful CEO fraud attacks should be reported immediately to your IT department or IT partner, to senior executives, including the person whose identity was impersonated, and to the bank from which any funds were transferred. Attacks should also be reported to government agencies working to stop cybercrime, such as the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Federal Trade Commission, Anti-Phishing Working Group. Always be vigilant and proactive. It's better to be suspicious and double-check everything when dealing with confidential information. If you do send the requested info, provide it in an encrypted email. The few minutes it takes could save a lot of money and months of heartache for all your employees. If you're not sure how to react or what to do, that's what HBB Tech is here for. Give us a call and we'll help you out. Our number is 636-542-8653. And by the way, if you're looking for links to those government agencies, check out our blog post that comes out on Wednesdays around 11:30 to 12 o'clock. Go to hbbtech.com and click on the blog menu item and you can find the blog posts. You can also check under security tips under resources. That's it for tip number 29. Next week's tip will be, is your copier spying on you? Remember, it ain't personal, it's just business. Till next time.